The Krytos trap follows almost immediately after Wedge's gamble. The New Republic has taken Coruscant and established itself as the legitimate power in the galaxy, though the cause for celebration is muted by the devastation of the Krytos Virus. The Krytos Virus, produced by Ever Dericote prior to the fall of Coruscant, is a deadly virus that targets only non-humans and is extremely contagious. The catch is that it does not inevitably end in death. The virus can be cured with large amounts of Bacta. However, due to the constrained supply of Bacta from Thyfera's cartel families Zukfra and Zaltan, the New Republic must divide available stores between its military and Krytos victims, driving a wedge between the humans of the New Republic and the non-humans. Yzaine Isard is missing, having retreated to her hidden Lusankia facility with Corran Horn, thought to be dead at the hands of fellow rogue Tycho Selchu. Tycho stands suspected of treason and murder. This book is unlike the previous two entries in the X-Wing series. There are very few starfighter battles, and the book consists more of legal drama and political maneuvering. It basically consists of three concurrent plot lines: the trial of Tycho Selchu, efforts to cure the Krytos virus and manage resources towards such, including the terrorist actions of Kurt and Lore and the counterinsurgency efforts of Flori Voru, and Corran's attempts to escape the Lusankia facility. For the purposes of this review, we'll take these three plot lines one at a time. After Corran's supposed death, an avalanche of circumstantial evidence begins falling into place to implicate Tycho in his murder. Millions of credits appear in bank accounts in his name. Several witnesses come forward who saw Corran threaten Tycho before leaving on the mission to take Coruscant, and even the best attempts at defending him turn out making him look all the more guilty. Playing a key role in the prosecution is Ayala Wasiri, an old colleague of Corran's and a member of the New Republic intelligence who had recently had her thought-to-be-dead husband Derek rescued from Dericote's laboratory. Derek spends a great deal of time with Tycho and believes the man to be innocent. Wedge learns that the New Republic has decided to use this trial to distract from the Krytos virus pandemic, as well as demonstrate that it shows no favoritism toward humans. Nawara Vin, a former attorney turned rogue pilot, steps up to defend Tycho. As the trial progresses, Nawara is able to demonstrate that there is plenty of reasonable doubt, but that holds very little sway in a military court. The prosecutor easily clears the lower level of burden, making Tycho's future prospects look dim. Meanwhile, the Krytos virus is devastating the planet's alien population, creating disharmony in the once united multi-species New Republic. The virus is curable with large amounts of Bacta, but the New Republic must ensure its military is treated for battle injuries, meaning rationing of the Bacta supply is necessary. To meet the increased demand, black market traders begin moving shipments of Bacta into Coruscant's underworld at exorbitant prices. While this is happening, a contest of wills begins in the lower levels of Coruscant. Prior to the invasion, Isard gave Kurt and Lore an assignment: start an anti-New Republic terrorist cell, the Palpatine Counterinsurgency Front, and use it to cause havoc. In order to combat this, Mon Mothma commissions Flori Voru to start the Imperial Center People's Militia. In reality, Voru is using the chaos to better himself, playing the New Republic, Isard, and Lore against each other. Lore eventually realizes he has been set up to fail by Isard and offers to turn state's evidence in exchange for immunity from the New Republic. Separate from this, a member of the Vratrix, a species native to the Thyfera that is responsible for the creation and production of Bacta, approaches Wedge with an offer: assist the Vratrix in getting representation with the New Republic, and they will help cure Krytos. This places Wedge in a difficult situation. While Krytos must be cured, representing the Vratrix could anger the two families that rule Thyfera and thus threaten the New Republic's supply of Bacta. While the trial commences and the New Republic fights to cure the Krytos virus, Corran is being brainwashed by Isard at the Lusankia facility. Corran begins to fall victim to the conditioning before remembering who he actually is, fighting Isard's efforts. After seeing that he cannot be broken, Isard has Corran transferred to the general population. While there, he encounters Dericote, betrayed by Isard, and Rebel Alliance legend Jan Dodonna. After investigating the facility, Corran realizes that they are underground and actually upside down, the facility using the gravity projectors to make the prisoners think they are right side up. When others have attempted to escape the facility, they have gone the wrong way, running deeper into the labyrinth of the Lusankia. Having figured this out, Corran plans his escape. With the help of the other prisoners, who he promises to return for, he slips away from the guards. Instead of going up and ending up further in the facility, he goes down and heads toward the surface. He exits in an old museum that has an exhibit on the Clone Wars, including some of the Jedi that had fought in it. Among the many Jedi displays, Corran finds one of Naja Halcyon. He is oddly drawn to this one in particular and borrows a lightsaber found in the display to use it in his escape. He exits the museum and finds that he is on Coruscant, has been on Coruscant the entire time. He rushes off to bring to light this new information. Curtin Lore is being escorted by Aayla to the court to testify that he has never met with Tycho, as Corran had erroneously suspected, and to reveal the name of the actual spy within Rogue Squadron. As the turbolift doors open, Aayla is horrified to see an assassin standing there with a blaster. He aims it at Lore and opens fire, killing the only hope to exonerate Tycho. In the ensuing fallout, Aayla returns fire at the assassin and hits him. After moving to search the assassin, she is horrified to find that it is her husband, Derek, who had been brainwashed as a sleeper agent by Isard. He apologizes, tells her he loves her, and dies. At Tycho's trial, a motion is brought to delay, but Corran makes a shocking appearance. He declares that Tycho is not the spy and did not in fact kill him. Any further revelation is interrupted by an earthquake that shapes the entire city. Rogue Squadron rushes outside to see a truly amazing sight. A Super Star Destroyer, 19 kilometers in length, is tearing itself out of the ground of Coruscant. As it turns out, Lusankya is not a facility. It is a starship that was constructed alongside Darth Vader's flagship, the Executor, and buried under the city to serve as a quick escape ship for the Emperor if ever needed. The rogues take to the air to try to stop Isard from fleeing the planet. The battle is short, as it becomes fairly obvious that the New Republic does not have the firepower to stop the Super Star Destroyer from fleeing. However, in the ensuing battle, Erisi Delaret loses control of her ship and is tractored into the Lusankya before it leaves. After returning to the planet's surface, Wedge announces that he knows who the spy is, Erisi Delaret. After the ordeal with Corran, Wedge had a subroutine installed in all astromech droids that tracked the X-Wing systems and reported them back to him. While Erisi claimed to have been dragged into Lusankya, she had in fact simply flown into it, recognizing that her cover would not last much longer. In the few days after Isard's escape, the rogues are preparing to pursue her. Luke Skywalker approaches Corran to thank him for revealing the location of the Jedi exhibit and all the information that was there. Corran attempts to give him the lightsaber he took, but Luke tells him it belongs to him. After doing some research, Luke discovered that Corran's grandfather, Rostek Horn, was actually his adoptive grandfather. Corran's actual grandfather had been Naja Halcyon. After his death, and the ensuing Jedi purge by the Emperor, his old friend Rostek took his wife and son under his protection. It's at this point that a note needs to be made about the Clone Wars. At the time this book and several other of the EU books was written, the Clone Wars was nothing more than a throwaway line in A New Hope. At that time, George Lucas had given very little information about the Clone Wars, including who fought in it or when it occurred, and this lack of information was no different for the Expanded Universe authors. The original timeline contained a significant amount of time between the end of the Clone Wars and the rise of the Empire. The timeline of the Halcyon Horn family works much better this way, with an extra approximate 15 years in the history. However, with the release of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, the timeline was compressed. This is a retcon that must simply be accepted to work. Luke offers Corran a place in the Jedi Order he is building. Corran is flattered at the offer, but he has a promise to keep to the prisoners on the Lusankya. He intends to bring Isard to justice. Unfortunately, Borsk Phalia informs him that the Zuckfer family has initiated a coup against their rivals on Thyfera and installed Isard as the head of state. Since the New Republic cannot interfere in the elected leaders of an independent or member planet, no matter how legitimate it may or may not have been, they cannot pursue Isard to bring her to justice. Instead, the New Republic is turning its attention to Warlord Zinj. Corran, declaring that he must fulfill his promise, resigns his commission. The entirety of Rogue Squadron follows suit and sets their sights on defeating Isard. The Krytos Trap represents an official change in the Galactic Order, finalizing what occurred in the previous book. The Empire, embodied in Zane Isard's occupation of Coruscant, has officially lost control of the center of the galaxy. With Isard's abandonment of Coruscant, the Age of Rebellion, begun back during the closing days of the Clone Wars, has officially come to an end. The Age of the Warlords has now begun. Have you read The Krytos Trap? What did you think about it? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching.